Hello and welcome to my shop. Thank you so much for joining me here today. It's October 23rd, a gray but kind of warm day here. So the big deal here in my household is the cat didn't come home last night. Oh my gosh, we let our cat go outside. It's been going outside its entire life. And last night it didn't come home. It usually comes home just after dark, a little bit after dark or so. And oh my gosh, it was out all night. So this morning I got up, I was quite anxious, so went looking for it a little bit here and there, and found the cat. The cat was just outside our garage door. Cat walks in like nothing unusual is going on. Comes in, I'm all freaking out. Hey, the cat's here, yay. Bring it upstairs, here you go, maybe I'll find something nice and warm and lay down and have a sleep or something like that. No, she has a snack and then demands to go back out, so she's back outside again. And that's the opening. That's the opening story for this session. So, what about this radio? So, surprising to me, I changed what I thought was the key capacitor that would be involved with the difficulties with this radio. It didn't seem to make any difference at all. Really, nothing dramatic. Anyway, so we got to pick another capacitor to do here today and try to get rid of this. Swooshy noise. I have the sensation there's an oscillation in the IF, but I don't know for sure. Why don't we play this radio again? Why not? Let's just play it for a minute. We'll just see what the story is. I think I've got to go and flip on the antenna too. Okay, let's give it a go here. $108 volts. Oh, you can't sound that. You can't sound that. You can't say that sounds good. Some odd stuff going on there. Scratchy sound could be a tube pin. Ooh. Okay, seems to be settled down now. What was all that about? Let's try wiggling a few tubes here. That's a new way to fix a radio. Fix it.
Talking about the government years of
Really?
failure to manage the forest outside of Jasper, and how this was a massive threat to the town. And inevitably, this summer, it destroyed a third of the town. $1 billion in damages. 2,000 people are homeless. It's devastating, and we really think it could have been avoided.
Is this more about, for your government and this committee, Dane, is this more about a long-term plan? I can't play that way anymore. RJ Barrett, man, he was one of the, so many people talked about that contract maybe being prohibitive, and he played some of his best basketball.
Okay, well, I think we got to do something about these tubes tubes in their contacts. Let's pop this. This is the worst one here. Let's pop them out. Okay. I'll take a close look at the pins on it. I don't normally find tube pins to be badly corroded, but let's take a look. Oh, I'm not going to take a look like that. Okay, just bear with me a moment while I fix the focus here. I'm going to be trying a new camera in here tomorrow. I've done this a few times and it's never really worked out, but I'm hoping tomorrow I'll have a better camera in here. Why is it? It's focusing what you're looking at, but it's not focusing here. It's kind of odd. Okay, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but that's fine too. We're gonna zoom this guy way up like this. Okay, let's take a look at those pins now. Well, it's kind of interesting right away. Pins have holes in the bottom. That's normal. Every one of them has a hole in the bottom. Now, usually what's happening is when they make the tube, they have long wire leads coming out of the glass bulb. And then they fit the base on and push the leads down through these pins. And they come out the end. And then you solder them up. And then you trim off the excess wire sticking out. Can't say I've ever looked at the pins on a tube like that. I can pull another one out here. Right beside it. Oh, it's the same thing. Well, you must be doing something a little different with these. What the? It's got some dirt in it. Huh. Okay. I think we can assume there's nothing really wrong. Well, I've got this one out. Let's just look at the quality of the pins. Well, they look fine. Maybe a little bit of stuff on them, but nothing. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't want to rush in and try to. This is the one that was making most of the noise. Try to sand these off or anything like that. Generally, shoving them in and out of the socket kind of solves the problem. Well, it's nothing dramatic there. And here, what you can get, these have what are called clamshell style. Look at that one. That one seems to be popped open there. Let me just change the light here a second. One of them's kind of sprung open there a little bit. This one's sprung open. That could be from wiggling the tube. These tubes are hard to wiggle too because of this rather strong center post. None of these look terribly tight. These ones look very similar. I don't know. Let me put this back in before I get these tubes mixed up. I'm not sure what to say about this. We could put some fluid on them. Maybe I'll get to that. For now, I think I'm just going to try a very simple mechanical thing. The thing about pulling these tubes out. If you look at the rivet on the, and you push the tube towards the rivet. I think pulling them in any direction kind of does the trick. No? Got two tubes out. Well, good chance I'm going to get them mixed up if I'm not careful. There's nothing unusual looking here. Philco locktal. Now, for some reason, I had it in my head that this radio was a Philips radio. I don't know why I got that in my head. Probably from something else I was reading or something like that. Okay, so this is a little different. It's got no pins here. That's all. No pin here. This must be the rectifier, right? What is this? 30. I can't read the print up here. Yeah, I can't read it for sure, but I think this must be the rectifier. Why? And then this is the output tube here. So a lot of pins missing here. They're not broken. They're just never were there. And these pins are black. They're a different color. The whole tube is black. 50A5. A5, and then this is a 35 something. That's the rectifier tube. Even though they're called locktal, that's fairly good. And then the main thing is they're not going to fall out. This one's very loose. This one's loose too. What would make them loose? There's a grippy spring that grabs this little ball on the end here. I guess maybe it's weakened. Okay, we'll try it again. See if we've eliminated the tube stuff. A little surprised I didn't pick up on it earlier, but that's okay. Sooner or later, everything comes to the fore. Here we go. Whoops. We'll listen to it start up again. About 100 volts will be on it. That's a new one. Was that due to the volume control? I should have cleaned that up, that's for sure. I missed that. The radio, other than that weirdness, all that other stuff seems to be gone. There's the heterodyne tone. I think the radio is more stable. Or is this because one of the tubes isn't making good contact? Let me get a good strong heterodyne here. Okay, we can all hear that. Microphonic something. The swoosh is gone. Are you serious?
up to 6 degrees for the low. Back to sunshine tomorrow. Seasonal high near 12 or 13. 14 on Friday. Slight chance of showers. And then back to sunshine for the weekend. But nowhere near as warm as it was last weekend. Right now, we've got clouds, sun, gusty wind out of the south-southwest. That wind will be strong today. It's 17 now at Pearson. The guaranteed high 21. Coming up at 9 o'clock at between Vaughan and Pioneer Village Station.
The news time 8:54.
A great gift for a child is it's a gift in a dollar and a half. That's why in Our Kids magazine. Give them the gift. Curiosity, creativity, and a love for learning all year long. New stories, activities, and adventures.
How about a little bit of shortwave? See what happens. So this short, well, it goes from 1.6 megahertz to 3.3. There's nothing there but noise. And I don't have the antenna fully connected either. There's nothing here. Pretty quiet. There's nothing to pick up. It says police. No. 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 So the shortwave band is immaterial on this radio. Even if it worked great, it would pick up nothing. It's all about the AM band. So that's probably 740. This is 680. 640. 590 Sports Channel. Oh, what's that? Well, maybe this is 590. Yeah, 590, 610. That's what that is. 590. Buffalo station here, but Buffalo is a city in case you're wondering. It's a city, Buffalo, the city of Buffalo. Okay, well, so that's why changing that capacitor did not eliminate the problem. The problem was related to the tube pin contacts, which, wow, I really, somehow I had it in my head, since these are locktal tubes, surely there's no trouble with them, but there seems to be more trouble. The clamshell style socket is, maybe that's a problem. I don't know. So I think the clamshell thing, it's just got edges. You're pushing the pin through, it's just got an edge. The other contacts are more like this. So you're coming into the connector and there's a couple of spots there where it's going to make some kind of contact, but I think these ones, it's just the edge. Okay, I'm going to stop for a little bit, and I guess we'll just change out the rest of those capacitors. Okay, I'm going to go after these two capacitors here and replace those, and then we'll test the radio afterwards. Yeah, this one's got a wire coming way over to here. Okay, I'm going to get that done. Okay, so I went to go ahead and cut those two capacitors out, and I realize this one here, I can't see the other end of it. Where is it going? It almost looks like it's coming up through the top. It could be. It could be coming up through a hole. Oh boy, wait now. Oh man, that's like the worst spot in the whole radio to get at. Wow, not going to even get cutters in there. Jeepers. Sometimes you can cut one end of a capacitor and then you pull on the capacitor and it'll lift it up and out of wherever it is. Expose the lead wire much better at that point. And that's really the only option I've got here. So I'm going to cut this and leave some wire behind. Oh, look at that. How do you like that? It's connected here to this term, same as this one. The two of them are connected to the same spot. Okay, that solves that. Let's see if I can actually extract it here. I don't know if I can get on it. This one out first. It's stuck right in there. Let's pull it right out. Just making doubly sure. It's gotta be here. This is like a fish hook. I'll just leave that sleeve there where it's stuck. 0.05. And this other one now I can probably get out. Once again, so once you get one end of the capacitor loose, you can pull on it, and sometimes that'll kind of free up and reveal where the other wire's going. I thought it was going up on the top, not at all. And this one is it's pretty roughed up. It's I don't know. That's its serial number 4515. .05 MFD. This is a 0.05. This is a 0.05. This is a 600 volt one. Well, looks like 200. Looks like a 200 volt, which is why it's a little bit smaller. So 2.05s. That makes it easy. Okay, I'm going to install those capacitors. Okay, got the two new guys in here, and I'm really tempted to just carry on, but I know the disaster that can lead to if I've made a mistake. So we're going to test the radio just to be sure. Radio's off. I guess you can see that this meter's doing the same thing that the dim bulb lights would be doing if they were doing it, but they're not doing it. Not enough power. I have both bulbs in here. Okay, it's working. Now, we'll do two more. Or what do we got left here? We got this one, and we got one down here to do. Then we've got these ones up at the far end, which I'm leaving to the end. So I'll do this one. This one's carrying the audio out of the volume control onto the triode amplifier that would be in this tube here, and I think. And the other one, who knows what it's doing. Yeah. Okay, well, we can cut these out. So starting with this guy, and leave a tail. Okay. And this That's the only connection to the center opposed to the volume control. I think I'm just going to cut them off. Another guy. And what size was that? It's a 0.01. And now this guy here. Whoa, who's he connected to exactly? Once again, it's very hard to get, easy to make a mistake here, and I know you can't really see what I'm seeing, but you see how just a bundle of wires. This capacitor lead kind of gets under this resistor and into a bundle, and I can't see for sure what it's connected to here. I can certainly see this end. Let's pull on it. In this kind of work, you just don't want to make mistakes, and I'm pretty good at doing that, making mistakes. Pull them out here. Sure looks like it's on that terminal there. Can actually cut this wire now, and I can really pull it up here. In fact, I can just connect to the wire, come to think of it, and not even worry about where it's going. But I'm sure it's going to that terminal. We'll leave the wire there. That's an easy thing to connect to a wire. And now this other one, I think it's right here now. Just want to be absolutely sure. Boy, you can be fooled so easily by looking at these wires. And no, I can definitely see it coming out of the end of the capacitor and wiggling its way to here. So I'll cut what I'm pretty sure is the lead. This terminal. Let me get a clip lead right here. So at any moment I could be called away on cat duty, and by the time I get back here, not only can I not remember which terminal is which, I can't remember what the heck I was doing. Speaking of can't remember what the heck I'm doing, there's a cut wire here. Did I just... this cut wire. Oh, that's from this. That's from the other. That's from the other capacitor. Okay, I'm okay. I forgot I did too. Yeah, there you go. It's amazing how I make any of these things work after I've fooled with them. Out you come. What are you? It's right here. .05. So we got a .05 and a .01. Okay, I will install those two guys. Okay, next two are done. Just make sure I soldered them. Not this one. This one, Tim. Yep. And this one over here. Yep. Okay, time for a test. Make sure the radio is still operating. So, not sure what the big one at the back was doing, but the other one, as I mentioned, was carrying the audio from the volume control. So, here we go. Okay, all cleared up. Switch off. Plug in. Once again, we play the waiting game. Just look at what did somebody do here? It looks like they took a large chunk of rubbery material. It's really not rubbery. I don't know, it has the surface here. It looks like the same as the speaker. They took another speaker and chopped a chunk out. I don't know, boy, it's a very clumsy looking job. I have done one clumsier though, for sure. Seems to work. Okay, how about radio? Yep. It's at 590. Very good, sports channel. Very strong noise in here. Very good, that's good enough. Okay, now we're left with just a couple of capacitors here. Oops. These ones are curious to me. This one and this one. So, this one's a different make from all the rest. And this one is too. Which really makes me think somebody's come in here and changed these. It has a cover on it here, which is also different from anything else in here. So I think this is a replacement. And I think that's, oh, it's almost certainly a replacement. Let me get the close camera and I'll just show you some of the evidence here that it's a replacement, along with the obvious stuff that it's a different kind. If you follow the lead, oh, come on, camera. Oh, I got to focus way up close. Okay, that's okay. So if we follow the lead, if I can, see it down there? It's kind of in the dark and in the fuzz. You see it moving. So that wire is going around the terminal, is soldered on the far side. So that's typical of a replacement. I do jobs that look like that too. Whereas if it's from the factory, it would be squeezed down tight on the terminal. It would never go around like that. So there's lots of evidence that this is a replaced capacitor. And this one, almost certainly too. In fact, if you look down, if I can get off the wire to my camera here. Again, I got the focus set so a little too far. Let me fix that. Well, let me what's going on here? Hang on a second here. Okay. Yeah, we'll put it about like that. Okay, let's look again. So we're looking at this capacitor and looking down. You see how shiny the solder is down there? Oh, I just noticed, what's all this tape here? Tape here too. So these are coming out of this little transformer. Certainly the output transformer. I don't know why they taped them up. But there's one kind of wire down here. And I don't think it's the wire coming right out of the... It almost looks like this has been replaced. It's a little far-fetched. But what's with all the tape here? Tape is not a normal thing you find in being put on in the factory. I mean, they could do it, but it's not a normal thing. I don't know what to make of that. Don't have to know what to make of it. Odd. Very odd. Okay, back to this capacitor. So this guy's probably got to be replaced too. This is a 0.05 and this is it looks like a 0.01 here. Okay, interesting thing about this, I believe this is made, I can put this out now because I'm going to replay it. I think it will say Hunt's on it somewhere. Maybe just up here, we can't quite see it. I have a bunch of NOS Hunts capacitors. It'd be interesting to test them out. Okay, so I'm going to pull these guys out here. Hope my camera work wasn't too bad there, because I really wasn't looking up at the TV screen too much. Get these guys out of here. Out of here. Didn't I have a yellow clip lead just laying out here a second ago? I almost put my fingers through the speaker just then. When I'm really onto it, I'll put a cardboard cover over top of the speaker so I don't stick my fingers through it, but most of the time I don't. So let's just cut this guy right out here. Better do these one at a time. And the other lead goes way over here. Sure enough, Mr. Hunt. Oh, it's got a dig right in it here. Could be a soldering iron strike, or I don't know. Looks to be in very good shape though. Very, very good shape. So we're going to test this capacitor, this one, and all the others in just a moment. Let's do some time. We're going to leave this one in here. I want to know the condition of this Hunt's capacitor. Now, when I found these in radios and they're original, like from the factory, I find these Hunt's ones to be all bad. Molded capacitors turn out not to be that much better than just waxed capacitors. Maybe they were better sellers. That's probably what it was. They can raise your faith a lot more than a bunch of beeswax. Unfounded faith. Okay, so there we go. 50 volts. What do you say? So it's opening part way. Only part way. If I put this to 150, I'm sure it won't open. Yeah. So same condition as most other capacitors. I have them all right here. Let's go through them without being able to identify necessarily what they were doing. We've got 4 of them here to do. Okay, how about this guy on the 50 volt setting? Not opening. That's this bigger one here. This is exactly what I expect. I mean, there's nothing surprising in any of this. If what the surprise would be one that is good. And it's very seldom. Yeah, that one's even worse. Okay, this was the audio one coming from the volume control. Oh, got one that tests good. Let's give it 150 here. Not so good at the 150 point. So I shouldn't say good. Better would be the word for it. And then the last one here. You know, it could be if the capacitor is not sustaining voltage during its operation, like a DC voltage or something, it somehow survives better. I don't think so. I think it's a lot more to do with just moisture. Going in, here we go. She's a dud. So the volume control one, now maybe this got replaced. Oh no, it says Philco right on it. Philco, yeah. No, that's probably the original. I mean, it's possible it's been replaced, but okay. Now, the Hunts, what I want to do now is figure out what these 2 capacitors are doing in here. The one I took out and the one that's still here. What they're actually doing. So I'm going to study up on the schematic. We'll figure that out. I'm guessing one of them is the grid blocker. So we're going to look at the schematic here on my computer, and thank you to the viewer who sent me this via email. This is basically a well done photocopy of the document I have here on my bench. Much easier to look at it here. So the two capacitors I'm fiddling with now, one of them is this one, this 0.01. This is the Hunts, where the Hunts capacitor was. And the other one I'm pretty sure is this one. This guy says 0.04 here on the schematic. The capacitor that's in there is a 0.047, which is really a 0.05. 0.04, 0.05 probably doesn't make a lot of difference here. And this would be a slightly degraded, or degraded to some degree, capacitor anyway. So I will replace this. I'll put a 0.04 in, and I'll replace this guy, and then we'll test the radio again. That should work. That should work. What am I saying? I'm just muttering. I'm mumbling again. I've run out of words, you see, but I just keep going. Okay, next one is this Plastiseal. Capacitor Plastiseal. Yeah. Patent number. British made. Oh, we got a British, American, maybe some Canadian ones in there too. It's an international radio. So what's so special about this? Let's take a look under the closer up camera here, and we'll see. Plastiseal. Okay, lots of bands on this end of it here. Suppose this is marking the foil end, the outside foil end. So let's look at the ends here. Well, they've gone a long ways to trying to seal the area where the wire goes in to the capacitor. This one too, they have a big buildup of that material, the plastic material, all around the wire. What happens when you're installing these and you start bending this wire, if you bend it right up against the capacitor, then you stand a good chance of opening a gap some distance into the capacitor, and you're just weakening the water seal on it. This one looks really sealed up, super good. Let's test this and see what we get out of it, because I'm interested now. So I come across these Plastiseal ones quite regularly, but I've never seen a radio full of them. It's always been you know, here and there, just like this one. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay, here we go. 50 volts. What do you say, Mr. Plastiseal? Yeah, it's just as junky as the rest of them. But I bet you these sold, and I bet you they sold for a premium. There was a premium on these. But, and if that's a replacement capacitor, you know, it's not as old as the rest, yet it's just as tired and worn out. Okay, I'll put in the new, I'm going to put a 0.04 in there. Here's my tray here. All kinds of 0.04s. What is this one? This is probably not a high voltage. 100 volts. Yeah, we're not putting that there. Yeah, no, we're not putting this one there, because there could be a... Yeah, okay, I'll put just the usual yellow guy there. Okay, let's install it. Okay, got those guys in. Just turn off my checker there. So one thing I didn't do, which I sometimes do, usually it's because I think of it, I didn't think of it this time, is I often test the grid voltage on the output tube to see if it's running at zero, as it should be in a radio like this. But often it isn't, because the capacitor feeding it audio is leaking DC, change the capacitor, should see that disappear. I like doing that. I didn't do it this time. I didn't do it this time because I'm trying to get this kind of done and out of the way, because I know what radios are waiting to come in here. Okay, so push this down. Check these guys. They are definitely soldered in. There's no shorts. Okay, we're going to try the radio out. Once again, I'm taking my signal from outdoors, and I am connecting it. You know what? I'm just connecting it to the insulation on the antenna wire. Okay, so that's a kind of a loose light connection. Trying to not make it too easy for the radio. Okay, and switch off. Here we go. Ah, oui. Should be picking up 740 right here. Did it just fade out? This is 680. This is a all news channel. Okay, let's check that tube. Oh, wow. This guy too. Yikes. They're all in trouble. I got a story about that. So you just catch on the news, they just said there was a death on the tracks on the TTC system. They're talking about the Toronto Transit system, and they're talking about the subway. So death on the tracks. And you see how casually they just spoke about it and didn't go into any detail about it at all. They just said it happened and moved on. That's a policy of the news media, probably prompted by the TTC many years ago. So I was in the Toronto Transit System Control Center, not the transit control room, but the power control room. Not a lot happening in the power control room. It's kind of on, and but they can monitor power draw at different stations that are feeding this rather extensive subway system. So I'm looking at this board, and there's just one of those old peg boards, with the slots, and you could put letters up, and you could make signs, temporary signs and stuff. It was quite common back then. There's one of those on the wall in the control room, and on it is a series of years. It would have been like 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, just vertically, and beside it were these numbers: 41, 60, it'd be like 62, 41, 71, 52. And these numbers just ran down beside it. And I just casually asked the operator there, well, what's that panel? What are those numbers? And he says, well, okay, so those are the years, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. The first number is the jumper attempts on the subway, and the second number are the successfuls, the people who got killed on the subway. 30, 40 people a year. back then. I don't know what it is now. Might be more, might be less. That's roughly one a week. One a week, jumping. And here's the thing, and and I'm not trying to encourage this, believe me, but people don't jump off the platforms where people wait for the subway to come. What they do is they jump down in the tunnel and run up in the tunnel. Now, these days you'd probably be caught on camera, but back then there were no cameras, so if no one's looking, you could jump down and run up the tunnel, hide in the tunnel, and wait for a train coming by at full speed, and then jump out. And that's what was going on. And wow, terrible. I could go into more detail on this, but I won't. But it was such a I will say this: it was such a regular event that they had a crew trained to deal with it. Oh my God, one a week. And the news media did not cover it. They would just say there's a temporary slowdown on the subway. They wouldn't say anything. I was quite surprised they said something here, that someone had been killed on the tracks. Probably a suicide jumper. Don't know. And that's the story. It's a sad story, isn't it? Very sad story, but there you go. Okay, now, the radio's sitting here operating, and I've forgotten about it.
And then from Brimley, alternating express and collectors all the way through to Avenue Road, we still have this issue.
So Toronto has earned the reputation of being the worst city in the world for traffic now. Right? It's really kind of surprising to me that this would happen, since traffic has been a problem my entire life, and politicians have been, saying various things all the way along about how they're going to fix it, but it just gets worse and worse. So luckily I don't have to deal with that anymore. I used to work in downtown Toronto, and I used to have to drive down there or take transit down there, subway, go train, other things. But hey, I'm retired now, so none of that has to happen. Okay, so what do we do next with this radio? It's got wonky tubes. I think it's good enough at this point. A lot of volume. Yes, there's a lot of volume. How did he know that? So from here, the name of the game is to fix up the cabinet, get this guy back in his cabinet, and see him on his way. Okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, ready to put the cabinet back on. I've cleaned this guy up. Cleaned up the red pointer. Wow, went from a dusty gray color to a nice, beautiful red color. Cleaned the light bulb, vacuumed off the dust, got the dust out of the capacitor, the tuning capacitor, cleaned the plastic, cleaned up the wood, put a little bit of oil on it. And while I was doing that, some of this flaked right off, just popped right off, so I glued this back on. Hard to tell anything happened there. Very good. I've left these cracks here. I haven't bothered gluing this back together. Got to give room for the next people to do something to it. And they won't have to worry about the electronics. And they can fool around with the cabinet a little bit, and then they feel like they own it. Right? There we go. Not bad. So I'm going to put the screws in, and we'll give it one last go. Okay, here we are, and that red pointer just looks fantastic. I mean, it's really leaping out now. Excellent. And yeah, not bad. I mean, it's in rough shape, but what do you expect? I'm in rough shape too. And, of course, I can't just be glued back together. Or can I? Okay, so we're going to give this guy a try. It's off. Put the power on. Here we go. Let's see if it lights up at all. Yeah. It's funny, the light bulbs over here are not central. Patience. Volume check. Lots of volume.
It's got a motherhood. We got to have a plan, as you said, because the use of electricity in Ontario is going to skyrocket for a number of reasons. One is the $44 billion that Ontario, and there's more money from the federal government, are spending to develop an electric vehicle. And the grid.
Action. Et enfin, bon, le troisième défi officiellement sur la carte est comme...
Fortunately, there's so much interference, but it's working good. I think it's working really. Let's try and pick something up way at the high end here. Yeah, she's. Even though they're weak, it's a good sign. Nobody home way up high. Very good. So if you notice, I did not do the alignment on this radio, and that's because it's receiving well. The dial is relatively accurate, and there's little to be gained. This radio is owned by a couple that runs a store in Toronto. This thing will go on sale in their store, and they'll probably be looking for, I don't know, $75 for it or something like that. So not a lot of money in this at all, especially this one's a little bit of a beater. Has a nice look to it, but it's a beater. So that's what will happen to this radio. And I won't say any more about it. This guy's done. He's done and on his way. The biggest deal was a new cord. Wait a minute, did I put that cord? Yeah, I think, yeah, I put that cord there. Great. Okay, well, I gotta find another radio to work on in here. I'm gonna think hard about that because I have a couple possible projects. One in particular, I think I want to do a 1 day. You know what? I got a 1 day project. Tomorrow I'll do a 1 day radio here, and then we'll move on. Okay, I think so. Who knows? I'm not promising anything. Don't hold me to it. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a good day.